3 and 4.
Welcome to the Friendly Aussie Ska Podcast. Today
Ska
we're
revival.
here to talk about ska with our friend. No, I'm kidding. Hello, welcome everybody.
We have
welcome to the Friendly Aussie Podcast.
we have Simon here today from Stoke Industries, and Simon, well, let's just say this guy, he's a fucking inventor.
He made a product.
He
Not just a product though.
he has built an indestructible Billy.
You know what? I'm going to take a video right now, just so you guys can see it.
Well, thank you for the introduction. That
You
was
can
very
You can
enlightening.
see Simon too. Hello, Simon. How's it going?
Yeah, no, not too bad at all.
Nah, we'll shoot like a proper video of this beauty and show it off. This thing has had a few years of development, and it's had a lot of thought into the design. And I've known Simon for I don't know how long, maybe 12 months. I'm not really sure. I've known
Passively for like
12
a year and
probably.
a half.
Whoa, it's
The
been a
first
while.
time either we got in contact was about the grinders.
Oh yeah, because I was like, yep, all right, yep.
It was ages ago.
Yeah, because I was like, there's got to be one person in Australia that would know how the fuck to make a grinder here. And that one person had to be the guy that made the fucking meanest bong I've ever seen.
The thing is, I don't know how to design a grinder. I hippie pick, man. Like, I
that's
don't
all right.
chop. I just
I think you
when there's an
mentioned this,
abundance,
yeah.
it's just hippie pick it and away I go.
I like hippie picking depending on the buds that I've got. Some buds I can do it with. Some it's just like, nah, this needs a chop, you know?
Yeah, the rock solid little bits. It's
Oh, yeah,
cement.
when you get those rock nugs, and it's not even PGR, they're just fucking
They're
dense.
rock.
We call that Brizzy Bud.
You pay like 200
Nah,
bucks
it's just
and you're
Metropolitan Australia Bud.
Metro weed.
Yeah,
Come
I don't know
to-
what it is. Like, it's just even when it's not PGR, it seems to be like really dense. There's like a density to a lot of the cannabis that gets circulated around.
Yeah.
Kind of strange.
I think the denseness, it's pretty well appreciated, like in the States. If you look at like a
Yeah.
lot of their top shelf stuff, a lot of it is like dense as fuck, and then beautiful trichomes and crystals all over. And I think it's like you crack that thing open, and it's like it's dense, but it's dense with just trichomes.
Yeah, and
You
you,
know?
can actually crack it open. Either
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, almost.
they're like, what is that? You paid 200 bucks and you get like 3 things.
It's like,
Yeah, it's
fuck
true.
is this?
That's so true. Holy
Whereas,
shit.
you know, up north, 200 bucks, bag, and it's like, you know, here you go. Yeah, it's sweet.
I like how the old fellas used to measure weed out in the day. Like, how many fingers full do you want?
Yeah.
It's like, nah.
Scientific, isn't it? Yeah,
It's
all right.
like, we just got plenty of weed, man. Like, we're not going to rip you off. Here's a fucking ounce for like 50 bucks.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Those are the
We can't even say those were the days. We've never experienced those days. We wish we had.
Yeah, exactly.
We wish
no,
we
no,
had.
no. In my past incantation, like my past life,
Do you reckon you were born in Australia in your past life?
probably. That's how uncreative I am.
Oh, it's a bit sad. Nah.
All right, well,
Yeah, so let's have a chat. Simon, let us know. Like, how did you become a degenerate pothead, you know? That went on to make the sickest Billy we've ever seen.
oh man. I started smoking consistently when I was 18.
Oh, yeah?
That's when I started. I'd done it a couple of times. You know, the first time I did, I was like 14. This was with like one of my best mates, and just found this bud. I won't disclose where, but we found this bud, and we're like, oh yeah, fucking let's try it. And yeah, we had a tinny.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
A tinny was your first hit?
tinny was my first hit.
Fuck, that's heavy.
We were down at a creek, and I'd lit
Yeah,
the lighter. I burnt my thumb.
Yep.
Flicked the lighter into the water. So we had to find these fucking shitty matches.
Oh,
But they
no.
were like, yeah, there's 10. And I won't deny that I don't think I actually got high.
That's a common story,
It's
isn't
a common story.
it?
So
Yeah, I'm in that same boat.
You know, I acted it like,
too.
whoa, like, yeah. But first time I got high, I was like, oh my God, the fucking cops are going to kick the door down in a second.
The
And
paranoia
I was just
came.
looking at the door like every 2 minutes,
Yeah.
like where the fuck am I? I was at like my friend's place, you know, and it was just like, oh, and then I realized I was like, oh, that's getting stoned. Like the first time, no way. And then I didn't touch it again until I was 18.
True.
I started smoking like properly on my 18th birthday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Any particular reason you waited till 18, or it was just like, no, it's time?
It was a family respect thing. Let's say that. We were always told, when you're 18, do as you please.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, it was never encouraged, but smoking pot was never discouraged either in my family. So when I turned 18, it was like, here's a joint, son. And, and you know, and it just kind of, yeah. I like it more than alcohol. Can't stand alcohol.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I like alcohol, I do, but I don't really care for being drunk, right? I just enjoy beer. I enjoy my beers. I like my craft
Beer is
beers.
nice. It's just like it's
Hot summer's day,
it's so
chug a
weird.
beer, like it's good.
Shit's just habitual. Like, you know, I'm a habitual cannabis smoker. But I don't chug beers, but I
Yeah.
like the taste of beer.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep.
Nothing beats a good Great Northern.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, fuck.
I hate the Northern.
Yeah,
It's
you
so
fucking
shit.
craft beer.
Oi, look,
I was
I'm
saying
telling you, you got to appreciate the diversity of beer.
Yeah, oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah,
when I
true.
went
Great Northern is just a one small section
It's
of the beer.
from up here.
Literally.
You know, like, it's the beer from up here. Give me a better catchphrase for a North Queenslander.
Okay. Good point, to be honest.
I'm a Cooper's man.
Coopers,
But
okay.
I bloody hate the family, so it's a contradiction for me. They make the best beer, in my opinion, in Australia on the mass production level.
Yeah.
But the family is just kind of like, they're kind of just bigots, and it's just like, nah, I'm all right.
Oh, the actual
Family, because it's a family-owned brewery still. It's one of the only ones left. I think it's South Australian, so it's like, I just fucking love their beer, like, but I really don't like them.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it's
well,
made by slaves.
Made with
mate.
hate.
Yeah.
basically,
We'll pay you $20 a week, make us Coopers, you know?
Fuck
so.
you. It's in the beer.
Yeah. You can taste their sweat. No, it's bad. Right.
so you started smoking at 18 a little more regularly.
Yeah, yeah.
And where does it pop into your head? It's time to make a bong. I can't fucking break. I can collapse on itself, put it all together and hide it and
Yeah,
fucking...
was that just a spontaneous thought? I'm just going to create the titanium bong from space.
I'm going to be the Elon Musk of bongs.
I don't mind. He's my hero. You know that.
Fair enough.
The first report of like ever talking about it was like in 2012, and I don't even fucking remember.
The end of the world. You decided it's time to make
It's
a good fucking
It'll
bong.
be. Humans won't be, but this will be.
Yeah,
sort of
exactly.
thing.
Outlive the apocalypse.
Should we
Possible.
run that for the marketing, you know?
And it was like nothing even like this. Like I would have still had it in my...
survive even the greatest apocalypse.
2012.
You will. It'll be a fucking relic.
When the
Something will dig
world
it up and...
blows up, Stoke stays up.
Stoke packs up. And it's like its own little nuclear shelter.
That's it.
And yeah, no, look, I never, I guess, went out to make a bong. I, at one point, had my heart set in joining the Air Force. And went in, did my aptitude test, did pretty well, went to the fucking physical, all sweet. And they pull out this little chart that measures how fucking colorblind you are, don't they? And I'm red-green, severely red-green. They're like, what's this? I don't know. What number's this? I can't see that. Then they put me in front of this machine that flashes 2 different colored lights, and I have to tell them what... Nah, couldn't. They all look fucking brown and white to me. It was just like, oh.
That sucks.
Then they gave me a list of things I could have done, and it was like desk admin, logistics. You know, I want to shoot guns and shit.
Not
Well,
interested.
yeah, I don't want to sit behind a fucking desk.
I think that tells us a lot about you, to be honest. That's great.
I do. I have a lot of respect for our defence force. I do.
Sure.
And I would have loved a career in the military.
Yeah.
I want to do fitter armouring, so, you know, attaching bombs to planes that go overseas. And
I wouldn't mind seeing bongs on planes.
Bongs on planes.
Yeah,
That's
you
it.
know,
Instead
like
of
the
dropping-
pilot just needs a quickie, just fucking pulls it out.
If you did drop a bong, it would still, if it hit somebody,
It could kill him.
make some
Vaporize them.
damage.
Oh man, we're dropping bongs in here.
Bongs over Baghdad.
Yeah. Should we make that meme, or is that really insensitive?
We could do it because the US are pulling out of Afghanistan. Except Baghdad's
They've been pulling
Iraq,
out of
so-
Afghanistan for like...
They are, right? Yeah, like for 20 years. Maybe they'll never do it, but Biden said he would, so... I don't
Yeah,
know.
so did
Should
Trump.
we believe him? Should we believe him?
No.
Yeah, I reckon they're getting out of there. I reckon they've just gone. Why the
It's
fuck
time
are
to
you
go
bringing up?
fucking hit Iran, really? That's
well,
probably all it
pretty
is.
much.
I mean, they
Just
started in 2001, so it's been 20 years. It's like round number.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
I remember when Dad woke us up and was like, it's the start of World War III. I was like fucking 7, like, oh! And he turns on the TV, and we had to get like a generator and stuff back
Yeah.
there. And he turned on the TV, and it's like, yeah, Twin Towers are being hit, and
Yeah, shit.
oh my God, I was like, oh, like, it was surreal, even as a little kid.
Mm.
The
Yeah,
one
I
thing
can
I hated
remember
the most
glimpses of
about
that.
it, though, was that ABC Kids, there was no cartoons.
Yeah,
It was
Cheese
just
TV was
fucking
off,
news
man.
reports for like 6 months. And by the end of it, you're like, you know, 7-year-old doesn't understand the consequences. Oh, where's fucking Angry Beavers, man?
Yeah,
Yeah,
honestly.
Like-
You're right.
Yeah,
It was difficult.
Just
I had to
more
watch
people-
VHS
Oh,
tapes.
Yeah.
Straight up.
What's that
I
shit?
remember bloody when I was in I think I was in grade 3 when it happened, but it was a sports day, and it was like a week or two after, maybe within that time, and I saw a ute, and it had like just something on the back of it, and I was convinced it had a bomb.
Oh.
And like the ute just kept circling around, and I'm like telling everyone, and kids are fucking freaking and shit, and like I'm not even sure if I believe myself at this point, right? Like, but I'm still sticking with this story.
Yeah.
But it's like that's what it did to my mind.
Were you like a paranoid kid? You know, did you used to read news
Yeah.
things and be like, oh my God?
I have always been a paranoid kid,
Yeah,
even to this
me too.
day in some degree.
Depends on like what kind of paranoia, right? It comes in different shades.
Yeah, I'm more
Different
paranoid. When I was younger, I was more paranoid of like people thinking like they were after me in that sense. Like I hold secrets and they fucking want them.
That's interesting.
I don't know why I had that feeling, but
Like the CIA's after you.
yeah,
It's
I
like,
always felt like I was such a special kid, right? Like that's how narcissistic I was.
You're too gifted. That's why they have to
I was,
shut you
yeah,
down.
literally. Like, well, the thing is, in school, my entire purpose and being was to just like kind of refute whatever the teacher said.
True.
That's how I understood school to be. It's like
Devil's advocate zone.
I just need to figure out how is this teacher wrong.
Okay.
And I should get a pass in the class.
Therefore, you get the A.
Yeah, right. Like if I can prove you wrong, therefore fucking I'm smarter than you.
Unfortunately,
Therefore, fucking,
teachers have fragile egos, so
apparently.
they don't give you A's.
Nope. I did not
Sucks.
get many A's.
A child outsmarted me.
So
Held back in 10th grade.
that
yeah,
was
fuck
the
that guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna fuck his career. You want to be a doctor? Yeah, more like a fucking,
fuck you.
no one.
You can end up running fucking fab for a living.
Man, you know what the funniest thing about fab for me is? If I saw my English teacher from grade 11 and I think even a bit of 9 and 10, because she was a student teacher, then became a proper... Anyway, if I saw her, Miss Bennett,
Good name.
she would be so... Actually, no, now it's Miss Cruzaz, because she married the PE teacher, Mr. Cruzaz.
Cruzaz?
Cruzaz. It's cruisy, bro. But if she knew that I was running, if I told her in high school that I'm going to run an Australian cannabis publication, or even just a publication, I don't think that would be a fucking thought in her mind. My English skills, not great. Like, no, I grew up to ethnic parents, right? Like, I learned how to speak Croatian before I did English. I learned
cool.
everything phonetically. So, English as a whole just doesn't really make the most logical sense of how it should be for me. So English was like always my struggle, and she always kind of gave me shit for it. I never forget it. Like it was always like the way I wrote was never good enough. Meanwhile, here I am now. I just found someone that can write for me.
You know, you don't even
Outsource.
need to. You don't even need to like be a good writer to end up
To write.
producing
Yeah.
like great content.
Yeah.
There are people who can edit your shit, or you can spend time
And figure it out.
painstakingly editing it.
Yeah.
It's really like if you think that you're bad at something, I just want to say this at the moment, might be a bit of a tangent. If you think you're bad at something, that's just a massive barrier and a limitation to actually improving.
Completely. And that's what annoyed me probably about high school. They literally just made you feel bad when you weren't good at anything. And
Yeah,
it's
you're
like,
just
can you just tell me
inherently
what I'm
not
fucking
able
good
to
at?
get better. Is
Like,
that what it's
well,
like?
no, they try and make it seem like you can get better, but you need to do all these things. And it's like, but like, could you just talk about where I am good and then like let me like focus on that?
Yeah,
That would be
for
nice,
sure.
you know?
That's, I totally agree. It's sort of an area where I think schooling fails. I went to a good school, like Townsville Grammar.
Oh, fancy boy.
fancy.
Private school
White.
boy.
I was a boarder.
Whoa.
So yeah,
yes.
5 years of boarding school.
Was it all male?
No, co-ed.
Thank
I see,
fuck.
I see.
Yeah, it wasn't totally.
I
How do you
couldn't
rate
imagine.
Townsville though?
Yeah, Townsville. Yeah, Townsville is the shit, man. It's a shithole, but it's the shit. Like, I have an admiration for Townsville.
Me too.
Yeah, why?
I don't know.
I've never been.
You've never been?
I've never been to towns.
Actually, I think it is the core. It's the heart of Australia. Like you go, that they are just the salt of the earth. You know what I mean? As much as there are shit cunts there.
Surrounded by like beautiful mountainous terrain, and then
Yeah.
you get to town, so it's just fucking dry and
Dry
hot.
as fuck.
Yeah, it's like
Beautiful.
Why would you build a fucking city here?
It's like the Rock calls everybody to congregate around.
Oh,
You know
yeah,
what
and
I
they
mean?
praise the little
Yeah.
what's his name? The little fucking angel
yeah.
on the big rock in Townsville.
Ah,
one
yes, of
hill,
course.
and it's
Yeah.
a rock. It's
Yes.
called Castle Hill. It's good to walk up and shit.
It's a great hill.
And it has an angel spray painted on it, and I'm pretty
Spray
sure
painted?
spray, but like proper.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I
I was thinking like a tag.
No,
like well
no,
engraved in
it's
there.
huge. It'd be like the size of a bus, man.
Yeah.
And it probably gets repainted maybe, I reckon, every like 5 years or something, and then it slowly fades away. And yeah, it's a little angel, like stick figure,
Yeah.
and that's like, it's on like every fucking Townsville logo.
That's a bit of a meme.
Yeah, it's its own Townsville meme, you know?
Alright.
It's a rad city.
Why do they call the city Townsville? Like I get it, I understand, but it's also like, what is it saying about the town other than that it is a village and a town?
Townsville.
Look,
Yeah, it's a weird name.
It doesn't abide by laws.
It does not abide by
It
any
does-
logic.
No, it's just like, fuck it, we'll have this name. Cairns.
Can
Yeah, pile of rocks, fuck off. You know, why not
Yeah,
a
bro.
Townsville?
I agree, actually. Names are complete fucking nonsense. And Townsville is an awesome name.
Yeah.
So
I've been to Cairns, but I've
Cairns.
never really gone above probably Gympie otherwise.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
True.
I haven't even gone out to Bundy yet. I don't know why.
Wow.
I've gone south. Like, I've gone all the way down to Melbourne, and I've, like, gone inland, New South Wales, Victoria, and I've done that trip a million times because I was born in Victoria, and then we moved
Yeah,
here,
okay.
and then family, da-da-da, fucking all that.
Yeah.
So, like, I get that area, but never did the North Queensland trip. To be honest, a little terrified. Friends that did it fucking got ran off the road by a road train and flipped, like, 4 times into Discovery. So now I'm just like, I don't know if I would want to go do that road trip. Like, people could die.
It's awesome. I love
Lights are bright.
I love the Cape. Go to the Cape, man.
Mm.
That's where.
I want to check out fucking, what do you call it? God damn it. The Daintree.
Yeah, the Daintree's nice.
Yeah.
Lots of Crocs.
Lots of Crocs.
Oh man.
But
Little-
that's kind of
little-
cool. That's alluring.
Little tip.
Run
Right.
zigzag.
Life tip. Right, how to not get eaten by a croc. This is
Just
crazy.
what do you do?
You just don't go near the fucking water.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
Like,
Yeah, fair enough. Because
you
they have a
don't.
real
They're-
advantage
they're
in the
big.
water. Yeah,
and they,
yeah.
they just lunge. They don't chase. They won't chase you through the fucking bush to get you.
Uh-huh.
But, like, I grew up in Cape York, probably 300 k's from the very tip. A place called Lockhart River. It was
Cool.
Aboriginal community.
All right, nice.
My parents worked for National Park, so we lived on the park. And, like, there's some of the most pristine,
Yeah, wow.
swimmable creeks you've ever seen. Like,
Fucking A.
fucking clear water. Do you go in them? No. No, there'll be a croc in there. That's fucked, man. So I swim down anywhere else, and I'm like, oh, is there a fucking croc? Like, even here, there's no crocs here.
No.
But it's still
You
just
might find a bull
number
shark in
one.
the Brizzy River.
Oh, great.
but- Yeah.
Yeah, if it's not sharks, it's
You can still
crocs.
punch a bull shark. You know?
True, and do stuff to their gills, I think. With croc, they just get
They
you.
just get ya.
Yeah.
But it's crazy that you're saying it's like clear water and it's like
Clear,
Yeah,
like
see,
crystal.
like my thinking is I'm only scared of crocs if it's murky water,
No,
right?
don't
Like,
be. Nah.
Fuck.
They can move pretty quick.
And
Alright.
And once you're in, they just roll and you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're dead.
Yeah, and they have a huge, just done, man. You're just done.
Oh, Crocs.
Crocs are cool.
There's a reason why everyone admired Steve Irwin.
True.
That's what I'll say.
Yeah, true.
He took them head on.
Fucking Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
Probably the greatest Australian to ever live.
Ever to live in southeast Queensland, I think that's true.
Would I be the public enemy #1 if I said I wasn't a fan of him?
Oh,
Oh.
I can't determine that.
I'm
for
pretty
our
sure
audience.
South Park did make it okay to joke about Steve Irwin's death.
Oh, really?
Like in one episode where it's like, it's okay now. It's enough time has passed.
It's
Yeah.
it's
So
like
you might be
too
alright.
soon.
Nah.
Steve Irwin.
I don't know, man. We lost an icon.
He was an icon. And he did marvelous things for the tourism industry.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the conservation industry for sure.
Named a road after him in
Steve
Sunshine
Irwin
Coast.
way.
Yeah.
Bloody
So he must have done something.
Yeah.
girlfriend
shit.
and I were coming back from a trip
Something.
away up on the sunny coast. We just had like a weekend in an Airbnb, had a good time, and we're coming back and we're like, it's Monday afternoon, probably about midday, and we see Australia Zoo signs. And we're like, fuck, should we go to the zoo? Went to the zoo and got absolutely cooked in the car park. And I had my vapes. And the zoo's actually a no smoking area. So like me and her are like running around the zoo trying to find little pockets to hit up the vape. And we're just getting baked looking at animals. And we're like, yeah, this was a good day.
Yeah, time well spent.
We even got an annual pass.
That's
Oh,
pretty cool.
And we never returned
You never went back.
Yeah.
because COVID hit.
Ah, true.
And then,
That's sad.
yeah.
Yeah, we got an annual pass to the Dream Worlds and things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not Dream World, what's the other one?
Movie World, Wet and Wild and stuff. The
Wet and Wild, I love that shit.
Yeah.
I'd be there every weekend if it was just down the road.
Man, I used to live down the Gold Coast when I was young. So from when I was about 10 to 12, I went to Dreamworld probably 50 times. Yeah.
That's
Parents
just
would just drop me off, give me $20. Mates would come
so fucking.
and would just be chilling for the day. So they've got babysitters on us, you know, basically the park attendees. Do our shit, play our rides, fucking do
Do
what we
you
want.
remember the ride at Dreamworld where it was like an alien spaceship and you were like attached to the
Oh,
sides
the
of it?
Gravitron.
The Gravitron.
Yeah.
That shit
Fucking
was
love
the
it.
sick.
Used to flip myself upside down on that.
Yeah, me too.
My mate Ashton Bunn fucking puked on it after eating it. It was fucked.
I can't believe they got rid of that, man.
Yeah,
Broke my heart.
It used to
Yeah.
come to the Cairns show.
Yeah,
I love the
true.
Gravitron, man. Like this thing that's just...
Have you guys ever been in the one that's actually not like a spaceship? It's the same idea, but you're in like cages, kind of. But
I'd hate that.
That shit
You're
scares
there.
the
I'd hate
fuck out of me.
and it actually lifts up and then tilts.
I've done it before, but
It's
I
fucking
was
cool.
scared the whole time.
Yeah, I like things that just rely on gravity, like water slides, but roller coasters where there's nuts and bolts and hydraulic hoses and everything that can possibly go wrong. I went on that fucking Superman.
Oh man,
My
it's good as.
my fucking fiance Ebony took me on. She's like, "Oh, it's great."
Just get shot.
Oh man, and it was like things are down, the doors open, and it's launching and no what trouble in 8 seconds, and it's all like comic-y voices, and you're like, oh my god. Usually, you go up and come down.
Yeah.
This launches you.
This was just by the first peak, I was gone.
Yeah.
I disassociated.
It's like
I went
literally
limp in
you're
my
out.
seat, and I was like,
Oh.
this is the end.
Fuck.
For about 10 seconds, I was just like.
Wow.
Like I wasn't screaming, I wasn't enjoying it. I just left my body and just went with it. Eb's like, yeah. She looked over at me, and apparently I was just like, just white. Just
Wow.
Yeah, the photo.
no. I
That would be
wish.
good to get.
It'd be like, I'd just be sitting. It looked like I was bored because there was no expression.
Oh, me and the
That is
boys,
insane.
me and my mates, when we used to go on the rides, we used to like just pretend we're sleeping during the photo
Oh,
days
yeah.
and like just doing like ridiculous shit. It was so good. I remember I went on the Wipeout in Dreamworld about like 15 times in a row. So like the guy who was like manning the actual machine, we made friends with him because we were there so often. And bloody, I was just like, bro, would you let me like go on this again and again? It was a pretty quiet day. It was like fucking, there was no line. So he was like, yeah, man, like you can just stay on, and I'll just put you on the back side of it to where you can't be seen. So like,
Nice.
I just stayed there. Man, I went on that thing 15 times in a row.
Oh
No
God.
hands the whole time.
Just loving it.
Oh, fucking rides, man. Good shit. But we've obviously smoked a good amount of weed through this Stoke that you've got here.
Very quick and easy
We've
transition.
definitely lost ourselves in
a little bit.
conversation.
A little bit.
So I think what we wanted to kind of talk about was that Stoke. It's been a bit.
That's Stoke, boy.
So
What's going on with the Stoke?
what is happening with the Stoke, Simon?
We have version 1 here in front of us.
We have the
You have
V1.
version 1. It's the first 100 edition.
Ba, 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 ba.
This one will never be made again.
Ever.
Ever.
What are the benefits of V1? What are you looking at here?
Ah.
I think a beauty. Like,
Yeah, it is just aesthetically very beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
The skin is cool. How you can
The
take
skin
it
was quite a hard thing to figure out,
off.
but
Yeah, right.
you know, there are certainly aspects of it that I'm not happy with.
Sure. I get
Legit.
that.
And
I get that.
I've changed it in the V2, which is coming out whenever it comes out.
That's awesome. So yeah, projected timeline whenever,
Whenever.
but that'll be
When-
really cool.
It will be cool. It will be the one that, you know, that's for a while. This
yeah.
one was.
Till we get to the V3?
I wish I had the V1.
Mm.
My friends call it the Tin Man.
The actual
Man.
The
first
actual
prototype.
first 2 of them made prototype.
Whoa.
And they were shocking, but I loved them. Like they were barbaric. I think. Can I show you a photo?
Yeah,
I-
potentially even if you want to send them to us so we can show our audience too. That could be cool.
We'll put
Okay.
that all together.
I,
I fell in love with this, I think, probably for the idea of the fact that it actually downpacks itself, hey? Like, the ability for it to seal itself off into something that looks a bit bigger than a Coke can. Maybe like a 440 ml like solo can. You know those bigger cans?
yeah.
Man-sized
Yeah,
things?
yeah. The more hit can.
It's just like a little bigger.
Can I just say?
I
the
know,
first
right?
one was wild.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
It
insane.
used thread.
It's like a Doctor Who villain. Or something.
How did the first one come about? Like, what was your process in that?
The first one, oh man, the very, very first one was actually just a Milo tin,
Yeah, right.
and we had like a piece of hose sticking out of it. That's what we were smoking through. It's like a normal bong note,
Classic.
and I just like, oh, like just for fun, got a
Yeah.
second hose that was longer and put it in. And I got a second lid and had 2 hoses. I was like, oh, it'd be cool if you could make a bong that was customizable. That was,
So that was the
that's the
thought.
first time I remember.
Wow.
That was in 2015 in Townsville.
And it started with the
Where I
Milo tin.
Fuck
started
yeah,
with the
Townsville.
Milo tin, yeah. Townsville. Still a shithole.
Yeah.
Guaranteed, if Build-a-Beug listens, they're going to have a Milo bong within like a year.
Within a year, and they better not have an
Already
interchangeable
got a
lid.
Vegemite bong. I mean, come on.
And yeah, I just didn't really. I did a couple of concept pictures, just drew them, and then forgot about it for a couple of years. Came down to Brisbane, did graphic design at uni,
Cool.
and by the end of my degree, I realised that it was definitely going to be a shit career being a graphic designer, and so I sort of redug up the bong idea. I had a couple of ideas that I wanted to go with. Nothing as technical as Stoke has been, for sure. I was like, oh, okay. And I will give thanks to my dad. He helped me out a lot along the way.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for him, it wouldn't have been possible.
True. I hear that.
Your dad funded your bong.
Your dad funded my bong. Cheers, Dad.
Thank you.
Should
Hey, trust me, there's interest and it's got to be repaid.
no, but like, hold on.
That's thanks.
Could
enough,
we
maybe.
nominate Dad for Dad of the Year? Like, Dad, let me build my bong. Like, come on, guys.
Dad let me build my bong and wasn't judgmental about it. Thank you, Dad. And Mum, she loved it.
That's great.
It's a
Supportive
family
parents.
heirloom now, you know?
Yeah, they have
Surely.
a couple that they just have on their shelf. Mum has some Egyptian hookah she got fucking from God knows
Chuck
where.
some flowers in there. It's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, exactly. It can be whatever you want.
I actually really just appreciating the actual design. You can kind of see that there's been a bit of TLC involved in the thought of, well, how is this going to work design-wise? Like
Yeah.
the fact that you've done a little bit of study there yourself, it's interesting to see the finished product just kind of before me. I'm like, well,
It took ages, man.
Yeah.
It took ages, and
You considered this.
a huge process. It wasn't like I did up the design and took it to someone, they made it for me. I had no idea how to design shit. As in mechanic, like with mechanisms and stuff.
Sure, yeah. I get that.
And even how to use the CAD software, the
That's
3D
super
modeling
involved,
stuff.
yeah.
I do now though.
That's cool.
And basically, I got the first prototypes through one company, and I was like, all right, these are cool. I want a second prototype. And by then I had an idea in my head, and
Yeah,
they were
right.
willing to work with me to make it happen, kind of.
Cool.
And then, like, one day they just sent me an email, and they were like, yeah, we kind of don't really want to have anything to do with this product anymore.
Yeah.
Fuck. Fair enough.
Fucking stigma strikes
leads
again.
to the face group, and that I totally want to have my own manufacturing that's real open about the cannabis industry, because
Yeah.
it's fucking impossible to get someone to make stuff cannabis related in Australia. Try it. It's impossible.
Yeah. This is the issue. You kind of need networks to build around that.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many barriers to entering into like supplier relationships. And,
Yeah.
like all this kind of shit. Yeah. All right. Where were we?
Making bongs and shit.
Making
yes, of course.
bongs and shit.
Where
Should we-
were you
Should we
on
title
that
the
path?
episode "Making Bongs and Shit"?
Well, maybe. We'll see how it goes. If that's an SEO title, like if that's something
I
that
think
works on the
that's
internet, maybe.
I like it. Making bongs and shit.
So yeah, I got the first ones made, and then started designing how I wanted the next one to kind of work.
Right.
I knew the key principles. Had to pack in on itself. Had to have interchangeable grips. Had to be made out of a metal. I didn't have any idea about metals. That's anodized aluminium.
Right.
Though a titanium bong, as I said to you the other night, is the fucking goal. Man, that's the dream. That's what.
How much would that cost again?
That would be like a $5,000 bong.
True.
Yeah, but it would weigh like 200 grams.
That's amazing.
That would be so
stronger
cool.
than that. You could still get titanium colored. Like, it's the ultimate metal. The ultimate. But aluminium's pretty fucking good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's still light. It's strong.
In terms of metal, like when you're smoking from a bong, what do you notice any difference from glass, or what's your?
I must admit, and it could just be naivety.
Mm.
I have never noticed a difference.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Never. I wouldn't say I'm a bong expert
Yeah.
to any degree. I don't know about carburation chambers and stuff. I don't care. That'll come one day. And the whole point is that's like, to me, Stoke, and a bold statement. I firmly believe that Stoke is the most practical bong in the world.
I kind of agree.
Well, glass is really impractical in a lot of ways.
Glass is
It's not even the
impractical.
glass. Okay.
If we're
The
comparing
best-
it in terms of like
The
break,
very best
right?
feature. This is what I experienced with it just the other day, because I've got one and I have been smoking bongs instead of having vapes for like 2 weeks.
Nice.
It's so bad. I'm smoking like twice as much as I normally would, and I'm like way less productive in like the times that I'm that cooked. But the thing I rate about it is taking that top off, right? And then being able to access the chamber. And you know what I fucking love about it? You go into the sink, you have a brush, and you just scrub the fucking inside and it's clean. You can't do that very easily with like any other bong. Other bongs, you got to put in your isopropyl alcohol. You got to fucking maybe a dishwashing tablet. Watch Mitch's video how to clean your bong. But you always kind of have to use some sort of solvent to help get rid of the gunk and the grime.
Yeah.
With the
shit
Stoke-
sticks to glass. Like.
Yeah, shit sticks to it, and also you can't really put things in it because you'll probably fucking break it. Like
You gotta
how
be
many?
Careful, yeah.
Most of the time, people's bong breaks. I think when they clean
Oh
it.
man, some of the biggest problems with glassware is just when you have all of those like chambers and carburetors and all of that shit.
Oh
It's
man,
like-
I love my perks. I love having a percolator on a bong. I really, really do. Like it makes the smoke like lighter, easier, and you can take a massive fucking hit.
Is
Yeah,
that where you
right.
just split like the main
Yeah,
bubbles
and
up
you'd have
yeah,
like
cool.
12 fucking tubes going, and each of those have probably like 3 slits. So you've got
Yeah,
probably like close to 100 extra pathways for the smoke to escape. So you just get a lighter, like bigger smoke. It's fucking awesome. But
when we're talking
those
about
things are
simplicity,
so fucking hard to clean.
yeah, it's the
You
opposite.
can't get a shit out of them. You need either an ash catcher, and ash catchers are fucking revolting after just a little bit of time. And most of the time, you end up just wanting to replace it. And then it's just annoying. Or you choose to use a screen. And screens don't feel as good. But in regards to the taste, I would say the taste of the Stoke's pretty good. But I've had glass bongs that definitely hits me a little nicer in taste. Especially when they're like fucking pristine.
Yeah.
So it's like... Depends how lazy you are, you know? Some people clean their bongs like after like 3 or 4 cones, and they'll just change the water out all the time.
Yeah.
We're looking
I'm-
at the life cycle of a bong like this, however. It's like...
This
maybe-
bong's never going to die.
Yeah, maybe it's like, you know, not... If you put it like head to head up against a connoisseur or something, and they're like trying glass versus metal, they might have problems with that or whatever. But you cannot deny that this will last you way longer than pretty much any other bong you could throw pretty much any kind of abuse at it as well.
Anything.
Yeah.
It'll melt in a house fire, but so will you. So,
I
like,
don't know.
it's-
Like,
I think
funny.
it's around 500 and something degrees that aluminium will start to melt.
Yeah, it takes...
The downpipe is stainless steel, so it's strong as fuck.
Yeah, that takes
It's not going anywhere.
yeah, jet fuel doesn't even fucking melt still.
No.
That's how you know. Of course. You could use a jetty lighter.
I'm so pleased with
You could use
that.
a jetty lighter, bro.
Just go in and...
Behind, jet out at the raft base.
And then you've got the brass cone piece.
Brass
I think
cone piece.
we were talking about this like a few days ago. I think probably the main thing I would really like to see is that 14 millimeter size stem. So you could potentially put in a glass stem if you chose to.
Yeah.
And a glass cone piece. That's actually, I wouldn't care for a metal stem. I'd be fine with one. But a glass cone piece, I reckon that would give me that same experience that I'd get for a glass bong almost exactly. I think
I
the
kinda
cone
hear
piece
that.
is the most vital bit.
I agree.
Glass
I don't know how you
and
do glass on metal, but maybe that would
You
work.
can do it. I found a few things and we had a little chat.
Okay.
The 2.2.
They look pretty sick. It's all possible. I mean,
That's it.
I guess the goal though, and this is like with the whole vein of Stoke and whatnot, is any glass piece made has to only fit Stoke bongs. Yeah,
It's this proprietary Stoke industry.
It is. And okay, maybe if you shove it into a piece of hose, it'll fit kind of thing, whatever.
Of course.
But like,
What's a bit? that
I
you
wouldn't.
made, bro?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't want to use the standard 14 millimeter socket that everyone uses? Because
yeah.
think about it this way though. The glass space has a lot of fucking connoisseurs who are designing crazy hectic glass.
True.
You're not going to be able to get those on there because you're just one product. This appeals to everything.
True.
So this is where I'm like, I would think about that.
You'd go with the.
The modular kind of idea.
Well, because the 14 or the 18 mil sockets are just such a standard size. So someone who already has cone pieces could use it.
Yeah, true.
Right? And there's like some beautiful fucking design ones where there's like colors in between.
Yeah.
It's like, it's cool as. An 18 mil would be fucking good though.
Okay,
You know why?
18 mil.
The reason the 18 mils are fucking cool is because it's wider. That shit doesn't clog nearly as quick.
Yeah.
But 18's also harder in terms of like your sizing for everything. So
Look, I promise that with the V2, you'll be able to use your glass piece in it.
yeah,
Wow.
Okay?
That is a massive
that would
promise.
be good.
I'll do that.
That's
Because that's a good point. I'm not at the point of making glass pieces yet.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
why would I limit? And at the end of the day, you're right. Lots of people and comments too on Instagram and stuff. A lot of them come back to glassware.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is cool.
It's
And
just the common
look,
standard,
I
guess.
love the trade glass blowing. I think it's fucking
It's
awesome.
pretty cool.
How
isn't it?
great
And
is it?
it's they're very, very talented fucking craftsmen for sure in any glass blowing. But it's been the practice forever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Forever.
No, I agree.
And in a way, this is just a different form of craft. Like, what you're seeing here is pretty much the same outcome.
Look, this isn't handcrafted. I didn't sit there for 100 hours like fucking Mercedes or
It's
whatever.
a fucking machine crafted.
It's
thing.
machine. These
Perfect.
machines are super fast. They cut at incredible rates and they go and fucking out comes a part that you've modeled on a computer, put in. It just like the coordinates, like the product's DNA.
It's the Tesla of bongs.
Yeah. That's yeah, definitely.
You're taking it to like are you going to be like Henry Ford with these bombs? You're going to start like creating the model Stoke?
Should we just run ads and just say it's fucking Elon Musk approved until he like denies it?
Until I fucking reckon he'd have a hit.
I don't know.
He's
on
alright.
Rogan, he says he doesn't smoke. He's had it a few times, but he's like, nah, it doesn't really do anything for me. And I'm like, I kind of believe that. I feel like he's just like operating at such high level. It'd hit him and he'd be like, what's this annoyance?
Yeah.
I'll just put it over here and I'm like, okay, now what am I doing?
It's kind of weird though, because when he was on the podcast, it kind of looked like he was already.
He
high
looked a
as
little, but
fuck.
he was drunk as fuck on that cast.
Yeah,
You gotta
that's what
put
it
that
was.
into it.
That he was inebriated.
See, parties. He'd
Oh, he
appreciate it.
loves to party. I've read his book.
Yeah, really?
His like favorite thing to do is throw parties. He
Yeah, really.
absolutely loves costume parties. And I'm like, what a fucking G. But the other thing that's fucking cool about the Stoke that we haven't even mentioned is the actual ability to paint it. Well, let's not even say paint, but like color it, anodize it, whatever fucking color you want. So you can make the stem purple, you could make the thing yellow, then you could go red, and it would be to your choosing of color. And I think that's something I don't think I've ever seen a bong that gives you that much customizability. I've seen things that are like rubber grommets that are kind of colored and stick on the bottom of a bong. I've seen maybe like, you know, acrylic bongs that are just red, green, blue, but like nothing that's like, nah, this part's this color, this part's this color, this part's this color. Yeah. And you told us that you could just return your Stoke and you'd get it anodized again for $120.
Yeah, you can do that.
Fucking,
Send
how
it
good's
in.
that?
If you don't like, I went with the silver and gold because they're pretty universal
neutral
colours,
and
neutral
nice,
colours.
yeah.
You know, so if you're not happy with that, you can send it in for a fee. We get it recolored. It'll actually come back. It'll get rid of all the scratches. It'll come back looking pretty fucking new.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it'd be good. And I've had not from customers, but when I first got them made, people later say, "Can you get it coloured for me?" Taking it back, and it's just come back fucking.
I think that's
Real
that's
flash.
awesome.
Something that might be cool about this is, I mean, it is the version 1. You have product development for new versions of this, but it's almost, the front of it's almost like presenting it as a collector's item. You've got like
The one
out of
in
100
Yeah.
sitting there.
I don't also use that logo anymore.
So it's a very legacy product.
It's a very legacy product. Actually, I have a.
Is this the little pipe?
Yeah, this is a little pipe. This had
Oh.
plenty of design flaws, so I've never actually sold any of these. No one has any of these.
Still, that's cool. Wow, okay. So what we're seeing here is aluminium.
That's sick. I'll smoke that.
You got a couple different
I've never
cylinders
put a
there.
cone through that.
Can I put a cone through it?
Oh.
It's about to happen.
No, if you don't want me to put a cone through this little piece.
Go on, put a cone through it.
Oh, are you sure?
Go on, put a cone
Put
through
a
it.
little cone through it. Fuck, it's a pipe. I haven't had a pipe for like ages. I remember when I was like hiding my cannabis use from my parents.
That's when you used a
From my
pipe.
dad, I used to use a pipe. I used to smoke it even in the bathroom, like in the toilet, and then I'd cover the top of the pipe with like a 10-cent coin. So you like that smoke didn't trail out. And I also didn't waste my weed. But you know the fucking
You
problem
get a
with
little
the
bit of a
pipe?
copper hit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when it hits you in the throat, holy fuck. But you know what the worst thing about a pipe is? When it fucking pops the cherry and it goes on you.
Oh,
Fuck that, man.
That happened to me way more with a pipe than it ever did with anything else.
before Stoke and everything, we used to make some pretty fun bongs just out of stuff. And one time, We got a rug from Kmart. It came rolled up in one of those massive cardboard tubes. It's like from me, an inch long.
Yeah,
It's
right.
huge. So I go, fucking yeah, let's put a co-piece in it. So we did
That's
at one end. So it was like two-man job, but it could backfire real bad. So one time my friend, he has it. I'm lighting up. I packed him a fucking Christmas tree. Hey, it was a huge cone, and I was just like, yeah, go for it. And he's there, and he's pulling it all, and I was like, oh, like out of excitement, and I fucking moved my hand because I was like, oh. He laughed. It fucking blew every fucking bit of smoke into my face. At the same time, the cherry exploded. It went all over me, burned my clothes and stuff. It was a bit of a nuclear meltdown.
That's terrible.
Out of a cardboard tube.
When we started, we smoked so many bucket bongs, 3-litre Mildura
Oh,
bottles.
yeah.
I smoked bucket bongs for fucking 6 months, and most of that would have been PGR. I reckon that's where I became retarded.
This is why you can blame everything on the bucket.
No. I'm blaming it on the bucket bongs and the PGR.
Oh yeah.
Would I take back the bucket bongs? No.
Would you take back the PGR?
Oh, mate, like, I would do
100 times.
anything to go back in time and never smoke PGR. I think my life outcomes would be different.
I used to not mind when it was here. It's disgusting with that synthetic weed.
Oh, yeah, the chronics and shit.
The first strains
Never touched
were
it,
okay.
man, but holy fuck.
It was shit, man. It was disgusting. I'm glad that became like as illegal
left
as heroin.
It left quickly, which was good. But I had like 2 ounces of that shit, and man, the high was quick and fast, and it was beyond. It wasn't a pleasant high, but it was kind of fun until you felt like your nose was bleeding like a tap.
Yeah.
And then your chin was filling up with blood, and you
feel like
swallowed it, and
it
all you
just-
could taste is iron, but
it
there was
just-
nothing there.
It's just like, it's weird because everyone that has ever done it to me has one of those stories. Like, I've heard recounts and it's like, oh yeah, it was great until
I like the pipe.
this happened and I had a kind of like psychotic break
Oh,
on spice.
no.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it just it gets to a point where your mind gives up.
Well,
And
it's just weird because it's like, yeah, you have like this great time and then all of a sudden it's like you have these weird fucked hallucinations.
It's fucked,
like
eh?
The bottom of it's a little bit like taking psychedelics.
Totally.
It feels like that,
It's
except
closer
it's
to that.
dirty. You know what I
Closer
mean?
to that, your brain feels like a radiator with
Yeah,
no
it's-
water in it. And you're like, oh, like same as synthetic acid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
25
I.
Yeah, I've done a bit of that.
We've all been there. It's so fucking dirty.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, take enough of that, that'll kill you.
Yeah,
it
for
will.
Sure. Yeah,
It
for
will.
sure.
But
So I don't do any of that shit anymore. I
we're adults now.
I like weed. That's what I'm stuck with.
I had a
True.
half tab the other weekend. That was fun.
Oh.
Not a
That's
25i,
ballsy.
just some acid.
Last thing I took was mushrooms.
Yeah, nice.
Mushrooms are okay. That was all right.
Yeah, they come from the earth. How could they be bad for
Yeah,
me?
they grew everywhere where I worked.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was
That's
awesome. But I didn't
For
do too
sure.
many, and then one night I had like a whole bag of them, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna get fucking smashed.
Hey.
Eating them, but I'd been like microdosing them like for like a couple of weeks, and so when I ate them all, nothing happened. It's like
Yeah.
I just got full on mushrooms.
Oh, and they're great to eat.
yeah, they're not bad, eh?
I remember once I had a bit of a full stomach, or not full, but like there was obviously food in there. I had some mushroom caps, and I had like fucking 20 of them, 15 to 20 of them, somewhere there. And I'm like, fuck, I should start tripping soon. And like I was with people, and they started tripping, and they didn't have the best time actually.
Yeah.
It kind of was like the wrong vibe between like 2 different groups.
Yeah.
And eventually they all left, and I'm like hanging, and I'm going to bed, and fucking I'm looking at my phone, and like suddenly fucking letters are flying off the screen, and
Oh no.
the trip starts at like
Oh,
5 in
no.
the morning.
Oh no. You're on your
And I'm
own.
just on my own in my bed, and I'm just like, whoa! And
It's the worst
Mushrooms
situation.
It was
Literally
weird.
work on their own time.
Yeah,
It's like, fuck you.
that sucks.
LSD, it's like you can rely on the come up to happen
Yeah.
within a certain period. Mushrooms, it's like, you don't know. You might not even fucking feel anything.
Man, it's the weirdest thing when you get the waves. It's like really, really strong, and then it goes away, and you're like, oh, fuck, must be over. And then it just punches you again, and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Fuck, it must be over.
Here at Fab, we don't discriminate on drugs unless it's meth.
Yeah.
And probably some other forms of stims, maybe some opiates. But generally, we're pretty open to most things.
Well, they reckon kids start spinning around in circles to get dizzy at the age of 3 because they like the mind-altering effects of being dizzy.
Yeah.
It's like human nature to...
Yeah. To elevate our consciousness.
Yeah.
Like we're like, fuck this 3-dimensional shit.
Yeah,
I'm going at least to the 6th or 7th dimension.
Those days are definitely done for me, for sure. I can't handle too much of a commitment.
Yeah, it
Too
is
much
harder.
of a
I've
commitment.
noticed as you age, it gets a lot harder to find your time.
Your
just
mind.
kind of find your mind and pick up the pieces. But at the same time, microdosing's been really a great time. So it just depends how you go.
Yeah, fair enough. But, I would be the first to admit that I'm all for anyone using cannabis, as long as you're feeling up to it kind of thing. Because I'm fortunate enough that I have seen both sides of it
Yeah.
too. And I understand that there is
There is a dark side to
There's a
cannabis
dark
that's
side
not
to
talked
cannabis.
about enough. We
Yeah.
should label a podcast "The Dark Side of Cannabis" and talk
Yeah.
about it.
It's a
It's a
very
very
real
good one.
thing, totally. But I think most people can handle it. It's like any substance, alcohol, like tobacco. I've just quit smoking tobacco 3
man.
weeks ago.
That's
Fuck
insane.
yeah,
And
vape nation.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'd still nicotine, but it's better than having a fucking durry always.
At least it saves you money. That's the big one.
Saves you money, man. We bought these little things from Adelaide, and that was like $30 or $40, and it's lasting ages. We were smoking like a packet every 2 days.
That's like
Of
pretty good.
rollies.
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 Between
yeah.
the two of you, or?
Yeah, between me and
Yeah.
my partner.
Fuck, that's pretty quick.
Yeah, pretty quick. But, I liked it a little bit too much,
Yeah. I'm fortunate I never got hooked on the tobacco addiction.
It's just shit.
Oh
Just
man,
watched
it
my
sucks.
parents quit their
It
whole
fucking
lives, try
sucks.
to.
Yeah.
This shit. I'm gonna try and give it up. I am trying to give it up at the moment. I've been vaping most recently just because.
He's not on the nicotine vape though. He's on the weed vape. Because
Cannabis
Mitch
vape.
doesn't smoke
Yeah,
ciggies.
okay.
I don't
he just
like
smokes
ciggies.
backy cones.
I smoke backy cones because
yeah.
of the kind of nostalgic hit I get from it.
Yeah.
Being in like a garage. You know what I mean?
I've heard that before.
I hear it from
Ebony.
people, but I never
God
fucking
damn
got
it.
on it, man. Like when I started smoking weed, I had it a few times, and then I fucking started researching and like going, is cannabis for me? Like, so I spent probably about a month or two going, okay. But it's really important to me that I don't smoke it with tobacco because I know fucking idiots do it.
Oi,
I'm not wrong.
idiot!
At least in the form
Just-
of smoking weed, yeah, definitely.
Just be like doofuses. That's nicer.
Right? But I was like, no way. So I kind of like roped my friends into starting to smoke a little bit, right? And like they kind of roped me as well. It was like all this. But we all kind of just like, I straight refused the tobacco adding, right? Like when anyone would like suggest it, I was like, no, why would we do that? No. And as a result, my circle of people that I have grown up with are absolutely 100% green only.
Nice.
Yeah. Unless it's in a joint, then we don't mind a little bit of backy, right?
Yeah,
It helps it
yeah.
burn a little bit, and it gives you a little bit of a head spin. But, we're talking 20%, 30% backy max.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Fair enough.
Look, yeah.
Just green things.
Tobacco and weed through a bong is just like it's fucking death.
Yeah,
for sure.
for me.
I remember once, me and Ed were sitting there, and I had like a tiny little bud left. I was like, "Do you reckon you could chop it for me?" She's like, "Yeah." And she just chopped it in with tobacco. Didn't tell me. She just because she chops with tobacco, and packed me this cone. And I had like when you just start to pull, and I got like the tiniest bit of smoke in my mouth. I was like, what have you done? And it was like our last tiny bud too. I was like, what have you done? They were like, why did you do that? And all of my friends smoke green.
Yeah.
But everyone Ed knows smokes spun. So it's like, green is so much better.
I live in a world where both exist.
Yeah, okay.
Like half of my friends do, half of my friends don't. I had good close friends who did and good close friends who didn't, and I just ended up getting hooked on it at some point. And it's kind of like, oh, now I want to distance myself from it because my throat hurts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to have long-term complications health-wise, like all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it more as an adult, whereas when it was a kid, I was just like, oh, well, when I have it with tobacco, it feels better.
Yeah.
Like
It's
that's
the
literally...
addiction.
Yeah,
It's the
100%.
addiction.
Yeah,
I
it's 'cause you
turned
get that
to...
head spin.
Yeah.
I turned not only to that, it's not just the head spin. Head spin was great when it first started. No. Tobacco is all about reducing and dealing with nervous anxiety, in my view. So that's why it's like it rebalances me on a fundamental level. It's fun.
What's weird about that for me is that's what cannabis does for me.
Yeah, I know what you're saying,
Right?
but you, right? If I take straight cannabis, I can get paranoid and anxious. If I take cannabis and tobacco, that doesn't happen.
Really?
Maybe tobacco's got heaps of CBD and we just don't know it.
Well,
Next
this
minute.
is true. I actually think that when it's high THC bud, I end up feeling like it just amplifies whatever kind of nervous or anxious tension
Yeah.
occurs there in a lot of cases. And then, I don't know, like perhaps this is why I kind of depend on this in some ways. It's because it feels like, do you ever get that kind of like overwhelming in your head kind of feeling after you've smoked a cone?
Yeah.
That to me is almost completely unbearable. It gets fucked. Like, I end up thought spiraling
Yeah.
if I have too much weed like that.
See,
I've had that before.
for me, that's a weird thing because like I almost love it. I have like a weird tendency to
I don't like engaging in that.
I like engaging with it when I want to.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Fair enough.
There's a time. Because I like when I get in there and it's like I'm just chasing a giant spiral in my head and I'm like opening doors that I'm like, what's behind that? What's behind that? What's behind that?
You're sitting there.
And then you're like going further and further into your fucking mind and you're like, cool, going insane, but sort of interesting.
I mean, it is interesting. Yeah.
Right? Like it just depends. But like if that happens like...
The problem is, right, it's a matter of life and death.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, all right, one day, I mean, pretty much present moment, because you've got to deal with it as a matter of now.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, it's just when it hits you. Is it convenient?
Yeah,
Is this what you wanted?
Yeah, and you know, taking responsibility for your choices in some ways. But whatever. It's kind of like looking at it and going, oh yeah, I made those decisions like how many years ago? Am I that person anymore? No. That's fine. So I'm addicted to tobacco now. What do I do about it? You know what I mean?
I think we just need to get more CBD into you.
Yeah, maybe
If we get
that's
more
right.
CBD, that's how you fix those moments because CBD can counteract that psychoactive effect. Like,
Yeah, I think you're right.
wholeheartedly.
I'd
Like,
love some CBD weed, you know, like.
Yeah, man. I was really lucky to experience a strain called cherry wine, and it was a 1-to-1, so 1% THC to 1% CBD, and it was probably sitting somewhere in that 12-14%. So it's not like potent weed.
Yeah.
But man, it's just your entire mind's clear. You're just in a happy mood. You don't feel too stoned where you're like, you're just like, I can go about my day. Everything's really good.
Yeah.
And it was probably my favorite high. And I think I've said it on the podcast maybe once or twice. 1-to-1 cannabis is probably going to be the future of cannabis. I think long term. If someone's a daily user and wants to be like a progressive member of society, and if they're not necessarily let's call it a recreational user, not recreational, a medical user, right? Where it's really about the pain and like whatever like symptoms they have. I'm talking someone who actually just likes to operate high.
Likes to get high.
I like to get high. I like to do my work high. Like I know plenty of people that are like that. They dose themselves really steadily throughout the day and they don't overdo it. And as a result, they function fucking really well and they've just got that elevated state of thinking.
Yeah.
Helps them go.
Yeah.
But the problem is, depending on what you're smoking on, sometimes it just makes you go, oh, I'm a bit tired now. Or you get the sativa and you're too racy, right? So that 1-to-1 to me, I really believe there's a future there where it's going to become a microdosing strategy for a lot of people.
Yeah, even if you like go off the kind of 1-1 ratio and you start kind of diverging from that, I feel like the understanding around it will be a lot more precise. Like at the moment, we just have these weird ratios of THC, CBD, and other cannabinoids. And I think that in many ways, it's like figuring out what works for certain people in certain contexts. Like at the moment, even when we've got this medical bud, you might, this is the stuff that might help you sleep. But how does that actually affect the individual? Do you know what I mean? That's interesting.
It's a mysterious plant.
I did everything stoned.
I really wonder.
Like, yeah, design like that the whole time I was stoned.
Yeah.
Uni, whole time I was stoned. Like, I loved it.
Yeah, it just actually unlocks that creative potential where you're just like, fuck yeah. But sometimes I do find, like, you know, your problem with, like, being stoned when you're doing that, you lose track of what you're actually doing. And it's like, oh, cool, this took me 10 times longer to achieve than it would have if I was maybe sober.
It like
It leads to other
encourages
paths.
non-linearity, so it's
Yeah.
not like, oh, I'm getting from A to B. It's like, no, I'm going to take this winding path and like learn all of these things on this journey, and then I'll somehow get to the end. Like,
Just like this fucking podcast.
exactly. 1 hour of rambling. There have been basically like almost 30 episodes at this point, and that is just the format of this podcast.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
It's just
welcome.
a good time. I just don't feel like you can make a cannabis podcast really structured.
No.
It's
Today
hard.
in the world of cannabis,
It just
Uruguay.
All right, we're going to be asking 50 fucking quick questions. about
Yeah.
Well, I've
cannabis.
thought
Even
about-
that's too stylized.
We could do that.
We've talked about the idea of doing like a 10-second like shoot off of like questions. Ready? I'll start you now. What's your favorite strain?
Oh, Gorilla Glue.
Ooh, nice one. Had some the other week actually.
Did ya? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's nice.
It was spicy.
Can I revise that?
Sure.
Yes.
Green crack.
Oh,
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I had a big green crack joint walking around Seattle. That was
Yeah, that
fucking
shit
Beautiful.
hits.
Green crack is
Bought it from the
absolutely one of my
dispensary.
favorites.
It was, oh man, and fuck. Okay, next question. Sorry.
Favorite way of smoking?
Oh, bong.
Bong. He loves his
I don't
bongs.
mind a joint nowadays.
I'm a joint man
Okay.
if I can.
Yeah,
But I'm joint and vape.
I smoke bongs like pipes. I chip away at them. I don't hit it.
Okay.
I'll take like
The American
three or
style,
four because
Just cough.
I used to be a champion,
Me too.
but I can't anymore.
Yeah,
It
I got to
gets
take
me.
it at about 2 or 3 hits.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially
exactly.
if it's a packed cone.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's my favorite way to smoke.
What's next? Think of a quick one. Favorite song?
Oh, Dogs by Pink Floyd.
Oh, nice. Great choice.
Fucking best album.
Animals, awesome. Animal.
Yeah, I have the wall tattooed on my back.
Oh, yeah?
I'm a wall fanatic.
Massive
but
Pink Floyd
In
fan.
the last, massive. In the last 3 months, I've flipped.
Yeah, okay.
Animals is now my favorite, and I reckon it
beauty.
always will be. Yeah.
So what do you think about early Sid type shit from
Shit.
Floyd? Shit.
Yeah, shit.
Okay,
Shit.
straight
Like,
up.
look, I appreciate Origins,
Yep.
but shit, man.
Wow.
Like, I don't sit there. Where I start would probably be Adam Hartmother.
Okay, I hear that because it's a great album.
It's starting to develop
Thank
into
you.
their rock form.
Thank you. You like metal?
Some.
Okay, good.
I used to love Slipknot.
I feel
Look,
like
I know
you
it's
can't not love
I know
Slipknot.
it's
just
mainstream
cool.
and that, but Slipknot
it's
are
cool.
cool. They're cool, man. I remember
they are
like,
cool.
and they're fucking good musicians. Like
Yeah,
at the
Corey
end of the day-
Taylor, as a vocalist, probably in the rock space, probably, if not the best, like top 3.
He's great.
Like, his range is unbelievable.
He's great.
Who's your favorite inventor?
Ooh, inventor, Elon Musk.
So not Tesla.
Nah,
Nah, fair enough.
I don't give a fuck about all
Fuck
that
Tesla.
stuff.
Fuck you. Do you know how much of an attack that is on a Croatian man?
Ah.
Tesla is the guy my dad would bring up every time I considered anything to do with my life. You know, like, you
gotta
need to be more like Tesla.
Invent free energy.
Fuck, and he probably did though.
Probably, but you know,
That's dangerous.
somewhere it's patented, somewhere someone owns it.
no.
What's your favorite kind of energy? I don't know. I was just asking.
Energy?
Yeah, energy.
Sexual.
That's right. Could be anything.
Oh, fuck.
Wind power. You know what I mean?
Oh, that sort of energy.
Could
Or could
be.
it be like metaphysical?
Yeah,
energy?
exactly. Could be like
Figurative,
big
it
dick
could be
energy,
metaphysical.
maybe. I don't know.
Oh, that's a fucking strange question.
I don't-
no, it's a good one. I got to think about it. But
Good.
Probably. I love the energy I get, and this is going to sound so corny, when I'm with my family.
I love that.
Like, I know that's
Thank
like,
you. That's wholesome.
but true. Like, I never feel more comfortable more mentally secure when I'm with Ed, my partner, and our daughter Amara. Like it's just, it is, and that's where I am the most relaxed. And I used to be kind of highly strung before I met Eb, like fucking in the way of like marketing, trying to market Stoke. I'd go to bush doffs and shit and just used to get fucked up all the time pretty much. And now I'm like a family man doing an apprenticeship.
I hear that.
And I fucking love it, you know. It's like sweet. We're buying a house and shit, man.
It's crazy.
Like
wholesome content.
yeah, there you go. There's your fucking family content.
Thanks for providing.
The Friendly Aussie Podcast. The fact is actually now for families.
All right. So, what's your favorite? I don't know. Drug. Cannabis. Does it come down to that?
Cannabis is a drug, definitely. Yes, conventionally, but my favorite
Names.
is probably MDMA.
Ooh.
Yeah, I like MDMA.
I'm a fan.
Very, not a fan.
I'm a fan.
Oh, you are
I'm
a
just
fan.
not a fan of having it regularly at all.
It's probably the only thing I would like harder drug I would do now.
Yeah, I get that.
Like
I find it a little rough nowadays. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking deal with those like come downs anymore.
3 days.
Oh, they're big.
Yeah.
Psychological
Hangovers.
torture.
Yeah, cool. I have no enjoyment in my life no matter what I'm doing. Even if I've achieved literally my life goal, meh.
I have no serotonin left. You know?
Favorite animal.
Favorite animal.
Favorite animal.
Oh.
Quick.
Oh, fucking dogs, man.
Fuck yeah.
Favorite
Dogs,
food?
and dogs, like, as in, like, all animals. Dogs are pretty
yeah, I
cool.
get that.
You
Dogs
know?
are fucking just
Oh.
G's.
Yeah.
They're
Like,
just
super intelligent. Like,
They're pretty cool.
they fucking sit for
Fucking
you
cuddle
stuff,
and
you know, like,
fucking-
they cuddle. They know affection.
Man,
Cats.
They
they're
fucking
really
know if you're
compassionate.
sad. Like,
We have a cat that was born with no eyes.
Whoa.
Yeah, called Nelly. And you would never think, ever,
No-eyed
she
Nelly?
didn't have, yeah.
Okay.
You'd never think she didn't have
she's
eyes.
using her third eye, bro.
She's using, and like, fuck it. She doesn't have smell either for some reason, I don't think.
Whoa.
Yeah, so
Alright.
but she can hear. And
That's remarkable.
she can walk too.
True.
All right, you got a good one.
Okay, go.
Ready? Celebrity you'd want to smoke with.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dre. Dr.
Dre?
Dre. Dr. Dre.
You're a Dre man.
Sensible answer.
Yeah. Yeah, I like
That'd
that.
be
I
cool.
reckon he's a genius.
Mm.
Yeah. You know, Snoop Dogg would be cool too, but anyone.
I'm a Rogan man.
Yeah, Seth.
Rogan, because like his
Or
comedy
Joe.
is mine.
Oh, what's
Joe would be good. Oh, I was thinking
There's
Seth.
two Rogans.
I was
I
thinking of
realised.
Seth. I was thinking of Seth, but holy fuck, Joe would be top tier.
Joe would be cool.
Yeah.
Joe would be
sweet.
cool, but like, I really got to. I wonder how that context would be. How am I smoking with Joe?
All right. I got a question.
With a Stoke. That's how you're smoking with Joe.
You got a gun, theoretically,
Okay.
to Joe Biden's head,
Yeah.
and you get to tell him to push one policy through the US.
Okay.
This is because you care about US politics, apparently.
If it's not cannabis legalization, you're leaving.
The one policy.
Yeah, like could be
Any
anything.
policy.
Ah, that's
But it
fucking.
better be
That's
cannabis.
simple, and it's not cannabis.
Okay, what is it?
Medical healthcare.
Oi, single
Fuck.
payer.
It's fucked, man.
Oi, I
It's
agree with
fucked
that,
over
mate.
there.
100%.
We
It
got
doesn't
the-
even make sense, does it? You just like, you have to pay to go to the hospital.
Oh man, like, you know, we were driving through Seattle, and there was like kilometers of tent cities, and
Oh,
they're not
no.
like homeless, like, rah, but they're normal people that have broken their arm, can't work, can't pay off their like 3 mortgages, because like every middle class person is in crippling debt. They all own
Yeah.
like 1 billion cars and big fucking Rams and stuff, like,
Right.
and homes and all sorts of shit. So it's like this false economy, in my opinion, that really works off nothing. There is so much money printed in the US
Just
that
fumes,
it's just doesn't make sense. Anyway, to me, I'm sure it does. I'm sure to financial advisors and
It
shit,
adds up.
it adds up. But to me, looking on a human level, it's outrageous because
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
say you cut 3 fingers off, and so you're bleeding. You're fucking in the hospital, in the waiting room. Like, let's say it's in Australia, they'll be like, "Oh my god, like get you in quick." Then, like, you know,
Yeah,
a few
it's
weeks
true.
later, if they need to, they'll be like, can you please pay this expense? In America, you got 3 fingers off, you're sitting in the waiting lobby, someone comes out and goes, do you have health insurance? And, oh, no. Come back when you have money.
Yeah.
Or they go, health insurance? Yes. Who's it through? Yeah, my name,
All right, let's have a conversation about whether you're covered or not.
3 fingers, each finger's worth $20,000. You're covered for $40,000. Which 2 fingers do you want to keep? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like the fact that they actually have medical bankruptcies, people like out on the
Yeah,
street
it
because
just
of this shit.
It
insane.
does. So yeah, that's the one like humanitarian thing, and even like India has like
Uh-huh.
free cover.
Mm-hmm.
Canada, yeah, like everywhere else, like America.
China,
is like,
even. They're supposed to be communist.
Pretty sure Afghanistan doesn't shit. Like legit.
It's bizarre.
America
because
is the one that does.
So many Americans believe it's better.
Yeah, because people get rich off it. Which, you know, hey, I'm totally cool with. I don't give a fuck about rich people. If they get rich,
Mm.
they've earned it, in my opinion. I don't care about the Amazon owner and Bill Gates because they fucking made something. And everyone uses it. They put effort, a lot of time, a lot of fucking around into something. In my opinion, they had earned every cent.
I understand where that's coming from because, like, of course, they've built their way up to become, like, basically heads of empires, like
Yeah.
monetary empires. And it's because they came up with cool ideas. It's because they developed things, because they created things. That's without saying almost. But then on another level, it's like they're also business and, I guess, economics geniuses on one level because they understand how finance works. It's how they've been able to take advantage of finance capital to get to that stage. And there's this kind of hierarchical development wherein, yeah, some people can make it out of the mud,
Yeah.
but the vast majority of people still live in tent cities in the US.
Yeah.
So it's like the distribution between these people up
Rich
here
and
doing
poor.
great shit
Yeah.
and these people down here. It's like you don't... fair enough when it comes to the rich people, right? But when we're talking about policy, it's like, how do you adjust for that kind of... I think you do actually have to redistribute wealth to bring about, like, desirable outcomes for people in the society.
The community and that.
That's
yeah.
right. I mean, otherwise it's just like Elon Musk up here, everyone else is fucking poor.
Yeah.
You know?
Look, we're gonna live in Rosewood, Queensland, and and if through the course of my life, for whatever reason, I get filthy rich, I'm not gonna do bad shit. But
Yeah, fair.
I think I would love to spend my money more on making more stuff.
Yeah.
That's
I
how
get-
I
Then
think as
big
well.
house. I'm a bit of a messy cunt, right? Like, I'm not immaculate.
Uh-huh.
I'd hate a big house.
Mm.
I'd fill it with shit. It'd be hard to clean. I'd hate cleaning it. So, little humble home.
Yeah.
But if I ever had that sort of money,
It's a little humble home, but a shed that's 4 times as big.
Not bad.
Exactly right. Exactly right. But I go back to my humble little home. That shed that's 50 times as big is employing 50 people. So they're going home to their humble little homes, and the cycle continues. Like it's all there. It all
I do see what you're
makes
saying.
sense.
Yeah.
It all makes sense.
There's a kind of scalability to
Yeah,
that too.
how many people do you reckon Bill Gates has employed in his time, or his company has employed in his
Yeah,
time?
you're right.
Whether
There's a
it's
lot
at
of
the
that.
headquarters or support work or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like heaps of people. He's probably been the reason heaps of people have been able to buy homes.
Well, see, yeah, the funny thing about it is it's like you don't even count Microsoft. You count the outside of Microsoft, the support.
Ah, yeah.
Right? Like the guys who install the computers or fucking maintain them for businesses and things like that.
Yeah, you could
That's-
make the argument that perhaps
That's
the
a-
whole industry and economy is like doing that spontaneously. Like even the people working under, so to speak,
Yeah.
they're doing innovative, creative, like technical shit
Yeah.
that keeps the whole thing going, and that's actually why those people are up there.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Yeah, look, I don't get me wrong. I see the divide.
Yeah.
There is a fucking huge
Well,
divide.
yeah,
Not
but
so
also,
much.
it's like the human economy has no divide. If we're being honest about it, it is this fluid thing that exists between all people.
Yeah.
And the problem, I reckon, is just that we've become really concerned with like capital as a mechanism. Like that's what runs the whole world.
Yeah.
And we have to make human wealth and prosperity this like quantitative, abstract thing that is money. It has to be like valued in this way.
Yeah.
It's kind of perverse. Like the fact that the outcomes that end up happening because of this system where line goes up, line goes down.
Yeah.
It's a bit perverse.
Yeah. And it's driven a lot of things, you know, a lot of innovation and shit.
That's true. You actually can't deny that
How
certain
important
things
is money?
evolve outside of that sphere, but not many things these days. So a lot of the innovation, a lot of the creativity, that's occurring within that economic sphere of capital. So
it controls us. Once upon a time, we would have just been cavemen that smacked each other with clubs, and whoever had the biggest club wins. Now it's whoever has the biggest fucking bank account wins.
That is,
and
that
I
is
know that's an
still
awful way of looking at
stick
it.
logic.
I
get it.
disagree. I think it's whoever has the most Bitcoin wins.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see about that actually. Who has the most Bitcoin? The guy who invented it?
Fucking, he has a lot, but he's not the biggest wallet holder. I reckon Elon's probably pushing. Bloody Dogecoin today got to like 500 sats from like 100 like 3 days ago. So it's like 5x, and the biggest holder of Dogecoin is Elon Musk.
Really?
Yeah, there was like a period of time where someone was just putting in these buy and sell orders constantly, like just trolling.
You laughed at me
That
when
were
I said
massive.
that Dogecoin was the future.
No, but like I really wish I kept some. It's fucked. Like it's like you actually know that it was going to happen. It's just you had to hold on.
Yeah, it's true.
But someone was flashing these buy and sell orders, but the order number for how much Doge was being bought was literally Elon Musk's birthday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And people were like, oh, it's actually Elon. And it's why he constantly tweets about Doge. Elon tweets about Doge. Doge does like 50 to 100% in like a day, half a day. It's so fucking ridiculous.
It's kind of weird how easily markets are manipulated based upon like internet activity.
Yeah, and I think that's actually the funniest thing that's come out of crypto and Wall Street bets and all of that. It's just showing how fragile these markets actually are, and they actually don't have as much meaning as we've like kind of put into them.
Problem is the meaning we put into them is quite like it's been concurrent and resilient for such a long time. You've got to like present a real alternative for people to jump ship. Kind of
Well,
thing.
I think that's what crypto's done. It's 24/7 wild, wild west.
But hang
It's
on,
like,
we're still in the Wild West when it comes to crypto. It's kind of like it's existing in this space where it still needs to evolve to become the alternative to like the Fed Reserve and all of that kind
it's
of shit.
only a matter of time, in my opinion.
Yeah, me too.
The way I look at
Potentially.
it, like Coinbase just got listed as a stock in the US. It's an exchange to buy crypto, and it's worth more than Goldman and Sachs, and it's an exchange. So, like, that's really quite telling. It's like its valuations at like $80 billion for a fucking exchange, and they're not the only exchange. So it's the amount of money right now. The crypto market's worth about $2.2 trillion, give or take. It's the fourth biggest currency in the world, like in terms of like cash supply trades. I think I think it's happening.
Yeah, one of the biggest problems that I've kind of considered
It's government.
with this, well, it's not just government, it's also bringing down operation costs of crypto
Well, the thing is,
when it comes to electricity, for instance.
the thing is, Bitcoin not so much. That's never going to really change too much.
No, that's true as a store of
But-
value, but the altcoins.
But the altcoins though, that's already changed.
Well, I think
There are
in some
altcoins that
cases,
are
right?
basically like
Yeah.
proof of stake has changed, and it's like the energy cost for a lot of it is fucking really becoming next to nothing.
Some of it is negligible, but when you're looking at how we currently transact, I'm talking about Visa and MasterCard, you're looking at almost nothing in terms of energy costs. So you've got to compete with that.
Yeah, it's true, but I think that's actually where you're going to get your value. I
I
think
have
that's where
no
a lot of
idea what
value.
the fuck you're talking
All right.
I'm talking about, you know how when you use a credit card,
Yeah.
so like that in comparison to actually like
Using
transacting with cryptocurrency over the internet, how much energy does that actually take from the grid? That's what I'm talking about.
Because crypto, because it's a
That's intense.
decentralized system. But you got to understand, like, It's I think the regular financial system probably uses a lot of electricity.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I'm
Actually,
thinking of.
when you add it all up,
It's
I'd say you're right.
it's probably not necessarily comparable, but I think the idea of using computing power, which is actually using basically creating a supercomputer to calculate problems, which is you can use crypto networks to calculate math things, right? Universities are using it to come up with solutions to mathematical problems. You're using the network for it. That's what the network's doing. So you're not going to have that access without such a big, large fucking network. So, you know, that's something in the future we're going to need. That AI-driven tech that's coming and is insane.
Fuck.
That's probably going to be crypto-powered because you can actually make a supercomputer.
How honestly far away do you think we are from... I have a couple of good questions for you too then about like AI and stuff. I like AI.
I'm an AI guy.
How far away are we from having one that you spawn and you have to teach it words and shit? Although it would be so smart. It would just hack into the fucking satellites and learn human history instantly.
Yeah, if we're talking about hard AI.
You don't reckon?
Yeah, if we're talking about hard AI, it's still science fiction. Soft AI is totally grounded because we've already got all
Machine
of the machines.
Alexa and shit, but Alexa has...
No. Alexa's not what I would call AI. That's a soft AI.
Very soft AI.
You kind of enclose it a little
Still
bit.
a database of things it says.
Your really smart AI, probably your best example is Amazon, right? The way it manages to figure out where things should be fulfilled from.
Yeah.
The way when
it
to
actually
order in
moves
stock.
parcels in the factories.
It moves parcels in the factories. Have you seen them robots?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they pick up a shelf and everything.
Yeah.
And then it has the shelf on the right level for the person to grab the thing at the right time.
Yeah.
So, like, to me, that's probably the smartest AI that I kind of can consume think of. As well as,
it will get better.
Picking user data, like, what do people need and stuff.
It will get, like, a lot better in the sense that pattern recognition in terms of these machine learning programs is only going to improve. But it will create something that mimics human intelligence.
Yeah.
It won't be intelligent.
You don't reckon?
I don't think so.
I don't really believe
until we have
self-aware.
the kind of processing power, which I don't actually think it comes from the current kind of industrial model. I think we actually need the way I look at it, you either enter into quantum systems or you have some kind of dimensional shift in human consciousness. Those are the only two ways in which this shit can happen.
I kind of agree with that as well.
Because the singularity idea, it's like you're kind of relying upon this old Leviathan like tyranny of the one artificial intelligence that made it and survived and decided to destroy all of the other artificial intelligences.
But is it an artificial intelligence just recreating itself to sustain itself?
My point is, when that happens, we just enter into like an axolotl state and our species ends. We don't have a future if that happens. So in terms of AI, it can't be this thing that rules over us. We need to have self-directed intelligence. And that, honestly, to me, that's just organic, getting in touch with and connecting to organic intelligence. That's the future of the human species, in my opinion.
I think
fucking AI shit, that's great, but...
I kind of agree to that in some respects as well. I think it's more like we need to figure out the AI of nature.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
What is the whole system doing?
Like, what is that
this
fractal
whole system doing?
Right? You think of like the golden ratio.
I like this shit.
So potentially, like what I kind of get interested in is DNA.
Yeah.
DNA is kind of like super interesting in the sense of like, well, we now can change it.
Yeah.
And we can fiddle around with it, and it can store data. I remember they were looking at making hard drives out of DNA, and apparently like a gram of DNA was going to be like 700 gig.
Well, you know, all the fucking COVID vaccines, they're CRISPR, the mRNA, made out of gene editors.
There you go.
Yeah. So, and gene editors have just come into play recently, so now you can like create your little designer babies if you're
Fuck yeah, I want my... Yeah, there you go.
I want
Hitler, you were fucking 80 years too early, mate. You can just go to a doctor and say, I don't want it to be anything other than blonde hair, blue eyes, mate. Like,
Fucking
make my
dumb.
kid
Nah.
perfect. Like, what the
Please.
fuck? And then you'd have a whole heap running around a schoolyard that looked fucking identical because, you know what would happen,
Everyone
right?
wants the same
like,
shit.
Yeah, like fucking Twilight 4 comes out and everyone's loving Jacob, so they want their kids to grow up to look like him. Or Belle. Either.
Well, nah, like the way I look at it is it's exactly that, but I just think of it like You ever go down to the Gold Coast and notice so many of the chicks and dudes look the same? They all like embrace the same vibe. It's like fucking white singlet,
Have you all
fucking
ever seen
jeans,
Gattaca?
and fucking over the top blonde hair.
You ever seen Gattaca though?
Gattaca, that rings a bell.
It's this movie about basically a society where the rich only had access to the gene editing.
Oh.
And they were the only ones that were able to edit
I
their
think I
genome.
have
Exactly.
And
what's
so it
happening.
created this kind of like clean, unclean, like underclass of people who haven't edited their genes and haven't like gone up the hierarchy. It's fucking really, it's really interesting. It's a good movie.
But yeah, I would say the real AI future is actually, can we maybe figure out nature? Properly
Yeah,
figure out
okay.
nature.
Biomimicry, in a sense.
Yeah.
I reckon someone's sitting in his mum's basement right now, and he's like,
He's hell stoned.
he's nearly there. Like, I reckon, and one day, this is just my theory. I don't understand it all that much, but this is what I reckon. He's gonna hit enter or whatever, execute, and something will happen. Something will pop up, and this is what's interesting. If it was genuine AI, they could sit down and say, "Oh, nice Devil Harvest anti-marijuana poster. I love the design of that," and then turn around and say, "Oh, I don't really like, the fan." Right? Can look at things, determine whether it likes it or not. Right? That's true intelligence to me. That if something can do that, because you can't have a fucking robot that sits there and analyzes which Van Gogh painting's the best. It doesn't know. But if you create that somehow, it could go one of two ways, because it's like a conscious mind where every single person on the planet is different, right? So if you develop something that was that complex, chances are it could be anything.
Yeah,
It could be anyone.
Maybe
They might
maybe
have
it's
Maybe it already exists.
maybe it does.
maybe it's everything and everyone in the sense that it understands fucking where everyone's
Everything.
coming from.
But then if
That's
if-
weird.
if
Is
it-
that just God?
wow?
Well, yes, but then I actually think that God and some kind of AI overlord would be just different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's this kind of...
You don't feel
me
like
put
there'd
it
be
about
free
this
will.
way. Let me put it this way. The Christian Bible considers God to be like a being. You have kind of the Trinity.
Yeah.
And then that's on one hand. On the other hand, you have reality as it stands. How do you explain that? A lot of people will go, okay, the universe itself is intelligent. And that's kind of a pantheistic argument. It's like God is reflected in nature and in spirit and in all of this kind of stuff. That's on the other hand. And then you have people who are like, oh yeah, like God don't exist at all. Blah, blah.
I don't like atheists.
So-
no.
So you subscribe to absolutely no creator, no...
Okay. I am agnostic.
Agnostic. See, no. I completely am fine with agnostic folk.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But, like, going complete atheist, like, nah, this is all random as fuck, and we just, like, woke up on this rock one day. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I believe in aliens and shit. To a point where, yeah, I'm sure. I reckon they've been. Look, the way I see it, humans in 1,000 years. What are we going to be like? We'll probably be traveling amongst stars and shit. We'll figure it out.
If we don't kill ourselves.
If we don't kill ourselves. All it needs is another culture that hasn't killed itself, that has similar, whatever, growth, doesn't have to look like humans or anything. Then maybe they will. Because nature follows patterns. So would it be so outrageous to think that somewhere up in the billions of stars, there's another eucalypt tree?
Yeah, I hear you.
Like
No Man's Sky just generates.
Exactly.
Like
It's
that. I hear
a
you.
similar thing. It's not like you're going to go to... I don't believe you'd ever go to a planet and the intelligent aliens are these huge things that are all but have spaceships.
Well, this
I
is the
think
thing,
they'll
right?
follow a similar design.
In certain ways, I agree with you. Like, there's definitely a sense in which you have broader trends and patterns of development that occur. And so you'll see them reflected in any other civilization that exists out there. But one thing that I think about is, like, the Fermi paradox is, like, we haven't seen any of these civilizations really as such, like, verified. We know that they exist. We've made contact. Whatever.
Yeah. So you know of.
So we know of,
So
exactly.
we know of. And I'm in that line.
Could be
so
classified.
we know of.
So, coming from that perspective, right? Is it kind of is it outrageous or not to kind of say that when you're looking at type 2 or type 3 civilizations, ones that have really figured shit out, so to speak.
Yeah.
Perhaps they're just not on the physical plane. Like we're looking in the wrong place.
That's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah,
Right?
you're into that side of it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
no, I get that.
You hit DMT and you talk to fucking.
I kind of
beings.
think they're
Are
in
these
our
not
thoughts and
aliens?
feelings. Like, I think that's how aliens emerge in many ways.
I reckon, like with that one time I did DMT and broke through.
Yeah.
Okay, that's to me, that's death.
Mm.
That's what happens when you die.
Yeah,
I'm
why
convinced
not?
of it.
Why not?
And then to get even more hippie trippy, when I was in that trip, it was like I was hitting, and it felt like cards coming at me, and every single card that was hitting me, and there was thousands of them, was a big burst of deja vu. I've been here so many times.
Yeah.
Like, so many fucking times. I've seen this place. I don't know where, I don't know how, I don't know why. And when you die, your brain releases DMT naturally. Gives it a little squirt. Like, so I came out of that, not like spiritually enlightened or anything, but I was like, I'm now convinced that that's what everybody goes through when they die, for whatever reason. I do, I guess, semi-believe in, not reincarnation, like I die and come back as a grub, but like, you die and you just kind of end up on a rock floating through space.
Yeah.
And you don't know what you are. Like, it might not be. It
Could
might
be
be on
true.
Earth, statistically, if it's infinite, you know? So, whatever, like,
I
it's...
kind of looked at it as like you get sucked back into the soul generator and it just kind of spits you back out where you fucking go.
I'm
So
kind of
like
like,
Scooby-Doo.
I'm the opposite of a materialist in the sense that I think that the world is composed of ideas and the physical plane is a kind of idea. Like, we're kind of in God's head. This is how I see it. It's not like God is a being or whatever. It's like the whole thing is just an
God's head.
infinite creative generator. Intelligence just creates everything that is possible.
like cells breaking up, like, you know, developing. in a
Exactly.
body.
And we're just part of that.
Does
In
that-
some sense, we're part of, you know, what needs to exist because intelligence exists.
Does that mean a little tiny part of God is always thinking about making bombs?
Yeah.
Just a little.
No, 100%.
I'm glad we came to that.
Yeah.
This would be
God,
considered heresy. But
I
no.
truly believe God was given. We were given cannabis to get a little closer to God.
Yeah,
That's-
well,
that's my
that's a
belief.
Hindu belief as well.
Yeah.
Um,
I really, really believe that because it takes me to this like level where I'm like, I'm at ease with the world. You know how like people say like one of the problems with cannabis is how it makes you complacent? I think the reason it makes you complacent is because you realize it's all kind of like a meme. Like it's just kind of all a just cerebral joke.
God bless.
Where it's like, yes, nothing I do matters, but everything I do matters. In the same sense of like, you're just here to kind of experience what, the way I interpret reality is it's like, we're just God experiencing ourselves, trying to understand better just fucking everything that we can ever conceive of. So like the way Mitch kind of explains like reality being like a set of ideas, why do I call this a table?
It's like we're concepts or something. Like there's another version of me that lives a different timeline just by making a slightly different decision. That's kind of how I look at it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the idea is really more in line with we're just one entity experiencing ourselves, the good parts, the bad parts, and that's I think why we have so much of this like weird conflict that goes on Earth is because people don't recognize themselves
In the
as being
world.
part of like the biggest piece of this.
Yeah.
The whole thing is
experience.
about breaking it down to like the smallest little individual item. And in our society and culture, it's individualistic in so many different ways.
rather
Yeah.
than like a collective, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But there's a balance to be struck in terms of you individuate while being part of a community and part of the collective. And that actually brings about a rich tapestry of people that all do different things and all contribute to one another. And
Fuck.
There's a lot there.
There's a lot there. I'm the kind of guy that's like, humans are just hyper intelligent animals.
lol. It's
I
true.
actually
I
don't
mean, we
regard.
are.
Nah, see, you say that, but I actually don't regard humans as that intelligent.
Well, I mean, we
I
are
think
kind of
humans are dumb
silly
as
as well.
fuck.
We are kind of silly. Yeah,
I think
it's true.
humans in general are pretty dumb as fuck.
But hang on, think about it from this perspective. We are meta reflecting on our own intelligence at the moment, so that has to count for something.
That's-
Look,
yeah.
the one of the smartest animals was that blue macaw they trained to like a 5-year-old's intelligence, right?
Yeah.
Are you thinking more of the African grey parrot?
Maybe. Is that it?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's insane, man. And it was like, I'm grey.
Yeah.
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 I knew what color it was.
But it never progressed. It never went to grade 3.
No.
You know, it stayed at grade
Yeah,
1.
but that's only because we've put the ideas of what grade 3 should be.
Yeah, but what I mean
Can
is
you
that
fly, cunt?
No, but I can build a jet that does.
Right.
True.
So
like humans physically are probably the
God
most...
created birds and humans created planes.
Yeah, like humans have amazing creative abilities that
Human.
other animals lack.
But
Humans are
the thing
useless.
is, humans would not be able to create a plane without a bird having to have existed.
Well,
Well,
exactly
I
right.
kind of agree with that.
Absolutely right.
So
but
then
like,
the question is the bird there for the humans to be able to figure that out?
No.
No, I don't reckon.
I think humans are there for the birds so that we can give them bird feed.
Oh, no. That's in depth. Look, we celebrate the fastest human on Earth. Who is it? Usain Bolt.
Why not?
Who runs like 100 meters in fucking 3 milliseconds.
8 seconds or something.
8 seconds, yeah.
Something.
And that's like 37 kilometers an hour, which is pretty fast.
Pretty quick.
But then you put it next to like anything else. A cheetah, a dog.
A
Like,
cheetah could catch
He
up.
could
to
still
that.
be alright in a 40 zone, like.
Yeah,
You know what I
true.
mean?
He wouldn't
Right.
even be booked.
Wouldn't-
You know, so like,
Cow.
and we swim, and we're like, yeah, like he's so fast at swimming. But then you see like
Animals like fucking
anything else, dolphins, fish.
evolve for that shit.
That's right. They evolved for that shit.
So what
But
did we evolve for?
we evolved with
Thumbs.
joints, and we evolved with tools.
Well, we also evolved with some weird ability to, in our brain, there's something that allows us to almost universally use our mouth to communicate with one another, which is really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
species.
And you know, it's like going back to how you say there's so much weird conflict. I can guarantee you the first tools made would have been used to kill things, and
Yeah.
probably other cavemen.
Yeah.
So conflict within humans, and you see it in nature. Animals, lion prides and shit will fight. Humans, to me, at the core, are just animals that have developed an understanding for things like a submarine. Sweet, fucking can't swim like a whale, so we'll make a big metal one, put a nuclear power plant in it, and float around the world for 50 years. Like, that's humans, man. We put someone on the moon.
Yep.
You know, like that's... And I understand the argument towards animals being smarter than humans. In the way animals are smarter than humans, it's like...
Intelligence is multifaceted, like.
They are connected to the earth.
Yeah.
Humans have lost that. We lost that connection 30,000 years ago. Maybe not that long. Whenever we started living as a combined community, where things like materialistic needs and shit became more prevalent than you live in a hut that you made for the summer because you know fires don't come through here.
It's pretty recent, to be honest.
That's where it all ends. And look, it's
As far as
just
it goes, though, I think, like, you may be right in terms of the connection is lost there, but let me put it this way. I think our future survival as a species is dependent upon that connection because we don't
Absolutely.
exist otherwise.
Absolutely.
So the post-industrial society has to do something about that.
Yeah,
I mean,
but-
it's kind of weird.
Post-industrial society was in the 1880.
Yeah, and
Well,
this is the
whenever.
thing. This is the thing. We've been dealing with this problem and it hasn't
Or
been solved.
not.
And we're still dealing with it. And it'll keep happening until things deteriorate so bad that we don't know what to do anymore.
Do you think people will consciously shift?
Yes.
I think we have to.
This is the thing. We are actually in a position where we must. And on top of this, don't you reckon that the whole evolutionary process is kind of like just miraculous in a sense? Like there is a... I'm not trying to make like a cosmological argument, but I am trying to say that like ultimately when we look at evolution, there's stuff about it that we can't really understand. Like even when we look at and attempt to understand and break down the functionality and the purpose of why animals exist in their evolutionary kind of niche and all of this kind of stuff, we miss in that analysis how the whole system works.
Yeah.
And I think that evolutionary biology, you know, when you look at how mutual aid functions,
Yeah.
basically, and how the whole system works in itself, human beings are like the self-conscious, self-reflective, complex organisms that run around on Earth, cause destruction and mayhem, but they also create shit.
Yeah.
And we are basically the guardians of the Earth at this
Yeah,
point.
we are.
No one else can save it. We are literally it.
Tigers aren't trying to invent nuclear fusion
So
and shit.
it's up to us,
It's
you
up
know?
to us.
Cowards.
Oh,
This
look.
is
Not willing to take the risk. Yeah, but you know, like,
yeah.
and you know what? When that conscious shift happens, and you said this the other day, that's how we're gonna market Stoke. Is that if you buy enough of these, we won't have to mine anymore.
Oh, beautiful! I love that.
Okay, we
We'll
have
never
to use
do it
X
again.
amount, but once that X amount's used, we're never gonna have to do it again. Exactly. You know?
Good.
All right, we brought it back to the Stoke after about an hour.
So, to finish this podcast off, maybe, what would you like to say about the Stoke and about the podcast, maybe? Do you have anything else to say in general?
Look,
Put me on.
I think we talked about more random stuff than
Stoke.
the Stoke,
Oh, we
which
did.
is
We went
which is fine.
way
Which is
off.
fine.
We'll have some.
I do want the Stoke to succeed. And I don't mean that in I want it to be like this big money making thing. I genuinely think that through the customization of it, the convenience of it, I want one of them in every fucking household when weed is legalized. And it's Australian made, man. It was made for the prohibition, so you can hide that shit. But that's become one of it, honestly, one of its best functionalities is just pack it up.
I agree.
Pack it, you know, assemble it, pack it up. It's pretty simple. It takes some people a couple of goes to get used to it. As I said earlier, with like manufacturing stuff. Like, I'm excited that Stoke might take me not to, you know, the immediate cannabis industry, but will allow me to design and innovate for it, for other people. And as I said earlier, give something that's open. You can come in and say, man, I'm thinking about making components for a vape or a bong or whatever. And not have someone sit back and go, oh, yeah, I'm either going to charge you $1 million for that because I don't really want this job, or I'm just not even going to fucking reply to your email because I'm arrogant.
Yeah.
No, man, anything. Like, anything's cool. And
So you want to be the space that you have not found yet?
yeah, pretty much. I will always be the designer of Stoke at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, I can do that in my free time and whatnot, but I do think that there is more possibility in branching out to other cannabis innovation. You know, I'm proud of my product, and I'll always try and market it as best as I can and find ways for it to work. But at the same time, I understand that it may not, like everything in life. So if that wasn't to work and I had to be a graphic designer because that's my fucking degree, I'd hate that. So I want to make sure that Stoke is backed by something bigger, which is Stoke Industries. That's a Stoke Inhaler.
I hear you.
But Stoke Industries is where it'll be. That's where it'll be at. And I want to be able to offer not just manufacturing and like that, but be able to go to people and say, I have a client. He wants a website made. I'll charge him this much, give you that much. I keep a bit because, you know, I got him in. But be able to offer that individual all the opportunities, even if it's not me doing it, but because I know other people.
That's it.
And just be able to, you know, imagine if you could go in and go from scratch. Sit down, we design something, we prototype it, we manufacture retail-ready products. I then can subcontract off to someone that does video marketing, but you just offer them a big fucking package for all that shit. And they do it all through you. Like, that's who it's through, and you subcontract out. So, like, that's my plan, I guess. And I want my own machines. I want to be able to manufacture, honestly, I want to be able to manufacture these cheap enough that more people can get them. Because at the
That's
moment,
probably the only real issue.
it's the only real issue. Look, originally selling them at 600, right? that is because it's made in Australia, it's expensive to manufacture, and you got to make some markup, right? That's because I had to find other people to do it. If I'm the designer, I feel a need that I should also be able to make them. If old mate that makes them sick one day, I can hop on the machines and continue making them.
Yeah.
When we own our own machines, it will be cheaper, and way fucking better. Way better. Like, I hate that I have heaps of ideas for this. Heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps. Like, we could sit here for another 3 fucking hours. I think Ed's probably worrying because it's been like 3 hours talking shit. But I could sit for 5 days, be like, yeah, that mouthpiece, this mouthpiece. This is called the portal. The mechanism that the mouthpiece clicks into, that's called a portal. The plug on the front where the downpipe goes into, that's called the perk plug. The downpipe's just the downpipe, mouthpiece, cap. But imagine if you could get a perk plug that has, angel wings on it. Clip it in. I love the idea of the customization. It almost kills me a little bit that I don't have the resources to make it happen. That's when it becomes like Willy Wonka shit. And that's where it becomes, eventually, the future. I see it as being something like you walk into a Stoke shop and I want the V2 body with the V3 mouthpiece, with the V mini.
And they fucking build it in front of you.
They build it in front of you.
Build-a-Beug.
Build-a-Beug. Build a Stoke. And keep it clean too. Like, there's like transformer tubes. Have you seen them? They make plastic components that screw together, but you can get it all wicky wacky, fucking this high with 1,000 twists and shit, and it's shit. It is.
Yeah.
It is. Like, okay, I appreciate all forms of creation, but I would like to see it like you walk almost into a fucking Apple shop.
Yeah.
So it's not like a billion things on the walls and some of them are, half a body with big tits hanging out and that's what you smoke through, or the other one's a Darth Vader head or, a dick or something.
It's pretty standardised.
It's standardised,
And
it
it's
looks
clean.
good, and it's good quality.
That's it.
I'm never
And it's
taken
Australian.
anything to China or overseas. The most overseas I would go would probably be American manufacturing. It's pretty good. Japanese is expensive, so it's German, but they're fucking the best in the world. Australia is good. We make good shit. And we make it with quality, and we make it last, so it's a bit more expensive, but look, you don't go for $100,000 Toyota Land Cruiser for your first car, do you? Like,
That's a good suggestion. That's a good point.
So at the end of the day, it's for a serious smoking market.
An enthusiast.
Enthusiasts, but also someone that is like, I could see a lifetime of use in this. I can take it camping. I've taken them on planes, trains, buses, every form of transport you can think of. The only time I've ever been pulled up, I was coming down to the Nimbin Mardi Gras.
Yes.
And I had 5 of them in my backpack at the plane in Cairns, of all fucking places. And they pulled me up because in the X-ray, man, it looked like a series of bombs. Hey, I was like, oh. And they were like, what are these? And I had to, I was like, look, I'm going down to the Nimbin Mardi Gras. These are actually smoking implements. I assembled it for the fucking, and she taps her friend. She's like, Barry, or whatever his name is. Jeez. Look at this. He has a big glove, and sent me on my way. I fucking shit. Hey, I was shaking. I got around the corner, like, oh fuck. So I thought they were gonna take them all, man. They didn't do that. They didn't take it.
They're never being used.
They're never being used. Still an illegal product, but because they were packed up and they're made of 6 individual components, it creates its own grey area.
That's cool.
And it's not illegal. It's not illegal. It's kind of like, depends on the cop you get.
Yeah.
He may not have gotten laid the night before. He's a bit fucking angry, and he's like, "It's still a bong, cunt." So it hits a grey area, and I market it officially, like on whatever, as an inhaler.
As in, you could use Ventolin.
It's an inhaler. You inhale stuff through it. Like,
Okay. That makes sense.
when I was first thinking about it, that was actually, I'm asthmatic. Like,
yeah, right.
When I was young.
That was my first thought.
Yeah, when I was young, I got put in hospital a couple of times and shit with asthma. Not so much when I'm old.
Right.
But I was like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if you could put your Ventolin puffer in there? And that's where the idea of saying it's an inhaler, which is kind of confusing
Yeah.
to
a little,
people.
I think. But then on the other hand, it actually works within the current framework very well.
It's an inhaler.
Yeah.
And get this is one of the best parts, man. Stoke, the word Stoke. Can I just look it up for you on Google?
Absolutely. Hit us. We might finish off the podcast with this if it's okay with you.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Cool.
It's a good way to do it. Okay, so
While I hit a pipe.
While Joseph hits a pipe.
sorry, pardon me.
Hey.
I spoke to a lot of
No
weed
worries.
during this class.
Yeah, it was a good sesh. Honestly, it was. You're gonna have to edit this
How
down.
long has
This
this
thing.
been?
Literally 1 hour, 51 minutes.
We're at 2 hours. Most of ours are an hour max.
Nice.
We
Go
could probably
on.
just do a 2-part.
Maybe we could do that.
Okay, alright, this is the official dictionary definition of what Stoke means, right? There's 3 of them.
The definition of Stoke.
Definition of Stoke. Add coal or other solid fuel to a fire, furnace, or boiler.
Oh, I like that.
That's like lighting up a cone.
Yeah.
2, encourage or incite a strong emotion or tendency. So that's like getting stoned.
Yep.
Number 3, to consume a large quantity of food or drink to give one energy. That's the fucking munchies, man. That is the chronological order of getting stoned.
Damn.
That's cool. Alrighty. Thank you for tuning in to the Friendly Aussie Podcast.
Yeah. Thanks for being in the pipeline with us,
Yeah.
Simon.
Thank you. No, thank you both. I appreciate it. And
Fun.
yeah, it was good to talk some shit.
It was really good.
Alrighty.
Thanks for coming on.
Stay stoked. I'm thinking of making a new track.
I don't think you should cut that. Just
That's,
keep on.
that's actually how I'm ending the episode.
Yeah.
It's going to be end screen. Joseph just going, poo, 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 poo.
It's not a bad little beat though.
Yeah, it's good. I enjoyed that.